I could say I'm the most bullied person on the world.
China's new First Lady is unlike any other the country has seen before.
Being the wife of a famous politician can seem glamorous. But it often comes with strict rules and high expectations. From maintaining a perfect public image to navigating rigid protocols, these women are required to follow a code of conduct that can be challenging and restrictive. Here's a glimpse into the strict rules that wives of famous politicians must follow. Peng Liyuan, wife of the President of China. Xi Jinping, the President of China, has been married to Peng Liyuan since 1987. Before marrying Xi, Peng was a well-known figure in China's entertainment industry, particularly as a folk singer and opera performer. She had gained fame and recognition, winning awards and earning a name for herself. Her career took off long before Xi rose to his current position, and she had a significant following in the arts and entertainment community. However, her role dramatically changed when Xi Jinping became China's leader. As the First Lady of China, Peng Liyuan's public presence shifted from a successful singer to a ceremonial figure accompanying her husband to official events. She was introduced to Xi in 1986 while he was working as a deputy mayor of an eastern port city, and they married a year later. Since then, her public activities have been largely tied to her role as the president's wife. China is one of the world's largest economies and most populous countries, and Xi Jinping is among the most powerful leaders globally. Given China's strategic role in international trade and politics, Xi holds a critical position in global affairs. This level of power and visibility places strict expectations on him and his family, especially his wife, who must align with the state's ideals. As the First Lady of China, Peng Liyuan has a multifaceted role that extends beyond simple ceremonial duties. Her primary responsibility is to represent China at state events, which involves accompanying President Xi Jinping to various diplomatic functions, both domestically and internationally. In these settings, she is expected to project a harmonious and unified image of the Chinese state. This entails maintaining a poised, pleasant demeanor, characterized by a consistent smile and an aura of warmth and approachability. Peng Liyuan's appearance at these events isn't merely symbolic. It serves to communicate the values and ideals that the Chinese government wishes to promote. Her presence is intended to reflect stability, tradition, and the strength of the Chinese leadership. As such, any deviation from this carefully constructed image is not tolerated. Public criticism, whether of government policies or societal norms, is strictly prohibited. The First Lady must avoid expressing personal opinions that might conflict with the official narrative or suggest discontent. The legal constraints placed upon her underscore the extent of control exercised over her personal life. The law effectively binds her to her husband, reinforcing the notion that her role is to support and uphold his position. If she were to contemplate divorce, the process would involve a thorough psychological evaluation. This assessment is designed to determine whether she is mentally stable and if there is any possibility of reconciling with Xi Jinping. Such a requirement illustrates the degree to which her autonomy is restricted, with her actions and decisions subject to intense scrutiny. Beyond these formal restrictions, there are unspoken social pressures that contribute to her constrained role. As the First Lady, Peng Liyuan is expected to conform to traditional gender roles and avoid activities that might be perceived as too independent or ambitious. This cultural expectation adds another layer of limitation, further emphasizing the idea that her role is primarily supportive and secondary to that of her husband. These expectations reflect a broader societal view in China, where traditional gender roles are emphasized. The notion of a woman pursuing an independent career or having significant influence outside her husband's role is often dismissed. Xi Jinping's views on women and their roles in society are consistent with these traditions, focusing on increasing the birth rate and supporting the family unit. As such, women, even those as accomplished as Peng Liyuan, are often expected to prioritize household duties and child-rearing over careers. In this context, Peng Liyuan's life and role as First Lady are shaped by these cultural and political expectations, placing her in a highly controlled environment with limited personal freedom compared to her earlier career days. Despite her previous success, her current role primarily involves supporting her husband's political image and fulfilling ceremonial responsibilities. Ri Sol-ju, wife of the President of North Korea. Ri Sol-ju has been married to Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea, since 2009. Their marriage was reportedly arranged by Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un's father, after he suffered a stroke in 2008. However, it wasn't until 2012, 3 years after their marriage, that Ri Sol-ju was publicly introduced as Kim Jong-un's wife. Before her marriage to Kim, Ri Sol-ju had a life that was distinct from her current role as the First Lady of North Korea. There are reports that she was involved in the arts, having worked as a singer in an orchestra, though North Korean officials have since attempted to erase evidence of her career by confiscating bootleg recordings of her performances. Despite her rumored past as a singer, North Korea's government has promoted a different narrative, claiming that she holds a PhD in material sciences. Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea, holds absolute power over the country, a nation known for its secrecy, extreme laws, and human rights violations. He is the latest in a dynasty of dictators who have ruled North Korea with an iron fist, maintaining a strict regime that controls almost every aspect of its citizens' lives. Ri Sol-ju, as the wife of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, faces stringent rules and strict regulations that shape every aspect of her public and private life. These rules are emblematic of the oppressive control that characterizes North Korea's political landscape. One of the most noticeable restrictions is her limited public presence. Ri Sol-ju cannot appear in public without her husband, emphasizing her role as a supporting figure rather than a public personality in her own right. When she does appear at official events, Ri Sol-ju must adhere to strict protocols regarding her demeanor, posture, and appearance. This includes maintaining a calm and composed expression with a consistent smile that reflects the image the regime wants to project. Her clothing and hairstyle are carefully controlled to ensure they align with the state's conservative and traditional expectations. These restrictions on her public presence underscore her ceremonial role, which is mainly about reinforcing the image of the ruling family and supporting Kim Jong-un's leadership. Beyond her public appearances, Ri Sol-ju's personal life is also tightly regulated. She has been required to cut ties with her past, distancing herself from former colleagues and friends, reinforcing her isolation from any influences outside the regime's control. This severance from her previous life also indicates how the North Korean regime seeks to minimize any potential sources of dissent or connection to the outside world. Her movements are heavily monitored and controlled. She cannot travel outside the country without her husband's explicit permission, reflecting the broader control exerted over North Korean citizens' freedom of movement. Even her family relationships are subject to the regime's strict rules, with Kim Jong-un reportedly deciding when and if she can see her family. One of the most intrusive aspects of this control is family planning. Sources suggest that Kim Jong-un has complete authority over when Ri Sol-ju can get pregnant, and that each of her pregnancies must be kept secret until after the child is born. This level of intrusion into her private life illustrates the extent to which her autonomy is restricted, with the regime having a vested interest in controlling all aspects of the ruling family's image and succession planning. Ri Sol-ju's autonomy is heavily restricted, and she has little to no say in many aspects of her own life. The rules she must follow illustrate the extreme control Kim Jong-un exerts, not only over the country, but also over those closest to him, including his wife. Despite the lavish lifestyle afforded to the elites and political class in North Korea, the power dynamics between Kim and Ri Sol-ju are clear, with the supreme leader holding complete authority. Camilla, the wife of King Charles. King Charles III and Camilla, the queen consort, have been married since 2005. Their union came after a long and controversial relationship, following years of public scrutiny and historical baggage from King Charles's previous marriage to Princess Diana. Despite these challenges, Charles and Camilla have created a life together within the confines of the British monarchy's strict protocols and traditional rules. Camilla's background differs from other royal spouses. Born Camilla Shand in 1947, she was a well-known figure in British high society and was once in a relationship with Charles before his marriage to Diana. She had a career and social life, but everything changed after marrying Charles. The role of the queen consort demands adherence to numerous strict rules and expectations designed to maintain the image and reputation of the royal family. Charles, as King of the United Kingdom, holds a prominent and influential position as the head of state. His role is largely ceremonial, but it carries considerable symbolic weight, with responsibilities including opening Parliament, representing Britain at state events, and overseeing the Commonwealth. Given this public-facing role, both Charles and Camilla must follow protocols that dictate their behavior, public appearances, and interactions with others. Camilla's new role comes with many rules. For instance, she's not allowed to have her own social media accounts, take selfies with the public, or sign autographs. These limitations aim to keep the focus on the monarchy as an institution rather than on individual personalities. Even simple actions like touching strangers or using nicknames for family members are prohibited. When traveling, Camilla must always carry a black dress to be ready for unexpected funerals, highlighting the unpredictable nature of royal duties. She must also wear full-length tights at all times in public and only neutral-colored underwear to maintain modesty. Additionally, her behavior and posture are subject to specific standards. Her chin must always be parallel to the floor to avoid appearing too arrogant or too shy. The dining rules are also strict. Camilla is required to start eating only when Charles is seated and to stop eating as soon as he is done, no matter the occasion. This requirement reflects the monarchy's hierarchical structure and traditional etiquette. These rules aim to maintain decorum and reinforce the royal family's image. Due to a recent incident where Camilla appeared unsteady while disembarking from a plane, she now has to support herself with one hand when getting off planes or using stairs, indicating how new rules can be imposed to ensure the royal family's public appearance remains impeccable. Camilla's role, defined by these strict rules and regulations, exemplifies the rigid structure of the British aristocracy. Even small deviations from protocol can lead to significant public scrutiny and criticism. These rules, though sometimes eccentric, are designed to protect the royal family's reputation and preserve the monarchy's legacy in a rapidly changing world. Sarah bint Mashoor, the wife of the Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. Mohammed bin Salman is the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia, a position that makes him one of the most powerful and influential figures in the Middle East. His leadership is marked by ambitious plans for the kingdom's future, including the Vision 2030 initiative aimed at diversifying the economy. However, his rule is also associated with strict authoritarian control and a conservative approach to social norms. Mohammed bin Salman has been married to Sarah bint Mashoor since April 2008. Sarah is his first half-cousin, as she is the daughter of Mashoor bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, a prince in the House of Saud. Together, the couple has 5 children, forming a prominent family within the royal circle. While they live in significant luxury, the power dynamics within Saudi Arabia's royal family and the strict societal rules heavily influence Sarah's life. Sarah bint Mashoor had a different life before her marriage to the Crown Prince, but very little is publicly known about her background and past. As the wife of Mohammed bin Salman, She must adhere to a stringent set of rules that define her conduct, appearance, and interactions with others. These rules reflect the conservative and religiously rooted culture of Saudi Arabia, where women generally have fewer rights and freedoms compared to men. As the wife of Saudi Arabia's crown prince, Sarah bint Mashoor is subject to a stringent code of conduct that significantly limits her autonomy. The rules governing her behavior are shaped by traditional Islamic laws and the conservative culture of Saudi society, which emphasizes male authority and female subservience. As a result, Sarah has little control over her own public image and personal choices. One of the most noticeable restrictions on Sarah is her ability to speak publicly. She is not allowed to address the public or give interviews unless explicitly authorized by her husband, Mohammed bin Salman. When she does speak, it is under strict supervision with multiple royal family officials present. These officials are responsible for ensuring that she does not say anything that could harm the crown prince's or the royal family's reputation. This level of control reflects the broader cultural expectation in Saudi Arabia that women should be discreet and obedient, avoiding any public discourse that might challenge male authority. Sarah's movements and personal choices are also heavily regulated. She cannot travel or make public appearances without explicit permission from her husband. This extends to even the most mundane activities, demonstrating the degree of control exerted by the crown prince. When she does appear in public, she must follow specific protocols that align with the royal family's image and values. For instance, she's not allowed to take selfies, sign autographs, or have her own social media accounts. These restrictions aim to maintain the royal family's conservative and carefully curated public image. The impact of traditional Islamic laws is evident in Sarah's dress and behavior. She must wear modest clothing that covers most of her body, adhering to Islamic customs and conservative societal expectations. The requirement to dress conservatively is part of a broader context where women's roles are confined to supporting their husbands and families. Additionally, her posture and demeanor in public must reflect humility and respect, avoiding any behavior that might be interpreted as immodest or disrespectful. Sarah bint Mashoor's case highlights the challenges faced by women in Saudi Arabia, where male guardianship and strict societal norms limit their freedom and autonomy. The crown prince's wife must comply with these restrictions while also embodying the idealized image of the royal family. Any deviation from the prescribed code of conduct can lead to severe consequences, reinforcing the idea that women must conform to the roles assigned to them by the male-dominated society in which they live. Alina Kabaeva, mistress of the President of Russia. Vladimir Putin, the President of Russia, has been a dominant political figure for decades. Although he's currently not officially married, he's rumored to be in a relationship with Alina Kabaeva, with whom he has children. Putin was previously married to Lyudmila Alexandrovna Putin for 30 years, and they have 2 daughters. They divorced in 2014, ending a long marriage. Despite his public status, Putin is known for keeping his private life under wraps to avoid potential threats, leading to speculation and rumors about his relationships. Alina Kabaeva, rumored to be Putin's current partner, has an interesting background. Before her association with Putin, she was a successful rhythmic gymnast and gained popularity in Russia through her achievements in the sport. She transitioned into a media and political role later in her career, further fueling speculation about her connection to Putin. The exact timeline of their relationship remains unclear, but it's believed that they started dating around 2008, even while Putin was still married to Lyudmila. Kabaeva's involvement in politics adds an extra layer of intrigue to their rumored relationship, with state-controlled media in Russia remaining cautious about covering it due to the sensitive nature of Putin's personal life. This mastery of power dynamics is further evidenced by his intense focus on secrecy and control, especially regarding his personal life. While Putin's public persona is carefully curated, little is known about his family, relationships, or personal activities. This deliberate secrecy is likely aimed at minimizing risks and preventing vulnerabilities that could be exploited by his political opponents. The Russian leader's aversion to public scrutiny extends to his relationships, making it challenging for outsiders to gain insight into his private affairs. In this context, Alina Kabaeva's life is shrouded in strict rules and secrecy. As Putin's rumored partner, she is expected to maintain a low profile, avoiding public appearances or media attention. This requirement for discretion aligns with Putin's broader strategy of keeping his personal life out of the public eye. Her interactions with the public are heavily monitored and controlled, often requiring strict security measures. This level of secrecy ensures that her presence does not attract unwanted attention or raise questions about Putin's private life. Kabaeva's role within the relationship reflects traditional Russian gender roles, emphasizing the expectation that women should focus on domestic matters and support their male partners. This expectation means that Kabaeva's public presence is minimal, with a significant portion of her life dedicated to household responsibilities. Such traditional roles are common in Russia's conservative societal structure, where women are often relegated to the background, especially when associated with high-profile men. Despite her discreet role, Kabaeva is said to receive lavish gifts from Putin, including luxury properties both in Russia and abroad. These gifts might be seen as compensation for the restrictions placed on her freedom and public appearances. The relationship between Putin and Kabaeva, while largely hidden from public view, demonstrates the tight control the Russian president maintains over his personal and political life. As Putin continues to navigate the complexities of Russian politics, his private life remains a subject of speculation, with his relationship with Kabaeva reflecting the broader dynamics of power and secrecy in Russia. Sheikha Moza bint Nasser, wife of the President of Qatar. Next on our list, we have Sheikha Moza bint Nasser, a woman who has made a name for her fashion sense and impeccable style. Sheikha Moza is the wife of Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani and one of the richest women in the world. The Sheikh is the former ruler of the Kingdom of Qatar, and while Sheikha Moza is just one of his 3 wives, she holds a special place because she is the mother of the current Amir of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. For decades, Sheikha Moza has been one of the most prominent and stylish women in the world. Her lavish lifestyle is very well documented, from her impeccable clothing to the luxury vehicles and stunning jewelry that she always wears when she's out in public. Besides all of this, it's worth noting that she isn't just a pretty face. She's also known for her intellectual prowess and graduated with a bachelor's in sociology from Qatar University in 1986. Throughout the years as Sheikha, she has consistently lent a hand in addressing several issues, from child education to youth unemployment, and much more. This is one of the major reasons that she's so loved. She doesn't just spend money and live lavishly. She also has a passion for her people. Despite Sheikha Moza bint Nasser's reputation for championing social causes and supporting educational and humanitarian initiatives, many observers have noted a striking contradiction in her public role. Sheikha Moza is often presented as a modern, progressive face of Qatar's royal family, known for her sophisticated fashion sense and high-profile appearances at international events. However, Qatar is also recognized as one of the world's most repressive regimes, with a poor track record on human rights, labor conditions, and gender equality. The government has faced widespread criticism for its treatment of migrant workers, its restrictive laws governing women, and its intolerance of political dissent. Sheikha Moza's position as an advocate for social issues, therefore, seems at odds with the broader practices of the Qatari regime. While she is associated with progressive causes, she has not publicly addressed or condemned the human rights violations and systemic abuses that persist in Qatar. This silence is not accidental. It reflects the tight control exerted by the Qatari government over public discourse, especially when it comes to matters that could undermine the regime's image. The topics that Sheikha Moza is allowed to discuss are carefully curated and controlled. Her speeches and public statements are subject to extensive review by male superiors, ensuring that nothing she says could be construed as critical of the ruling family or the country's policies. This rigid control over her public persona ensures that she remains an uncontroversial figure, projecting an image of stability and progress without challenging the status quo. Moreover, Sheikha Moza's role as an ambassador for Qatar's international image can be seen as part of the regime's broader strategy to maintain legitimacy on the global stage. By presenting a modern and charitable front, the royal family can deflect criticism and foster a more favorable view of Qatar, even as oppressive practices continue behind the scenes. This dynamic places Sheikha Moza in a delicate position where she must balance her public advocacy with the need to maintain the carefully crafted image of the Qatari regime. Just like her counterpart in Saudi Arabia, she also lives a very controlled life. All of her movements are tracked by her husband as well as the new Emir of Qatar. As such, even though she has a few freedoms as the mother of the Emir, she's just restricted in total. You might think that all of the luxury items and fashionable clothing that she wears would make up for it, but in reality, her life is still highly regulated and monitored. That was the list of the strictest and most bizarre rules that rulers make their wives follow. Which one do you think is the weirdest one? Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.